Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sal Pitera channel. I'm Sal.
And I'm Debbie.
And we have a packed show for you tonight. Lots of information. We're going to answer lots of questions. I'm sure kind of have lots of pissed off people. I mean, lots of happy sailors. So, hey, everybody, welcome back. If you're new to our channel, as always, we always start the show by asking you to please click that subscribe button. Click the little bell notification. That way YouTube will let you know every time we upload a brand new video to our channel. Also, consider joining our channel. It gets you special gifts now and again. Really supports us financially. It's only $5 a month, as well as get you discounts off of special cruises, etc. So consider doing that. We would appreciate it. Also, we also have a text information telephone number. If you'd like to send us a text, you can send us a text to 305-574-9213. It's totally free, and we send you the latest cruise news as it happens before you see it almost anywhere else, as well as we also let you know every time we put up a live video or an informational video on our channel, we send you a text. It's absolutely free. There's no charge for it, and you can opt out at any time. Oh, and we did have some people ask us for our address. So I'll put that on the screen as well. You can send us mail through the physical mail at the Sal Pitera Company, P.O. Box 453, Talmadge, Ohio, 44278, and it's also in the link of this description. If you send us something, we will open it live on one of our live shows. Don't make it something expensive. If you want to send us something just to show us something from where you live, we would love to see your mail in our mailbag. This information was taken off of both Carnival.com, their press releases, my discussions with colleagues over at Carnival to make sure that the information is correct. One thing about our channel is I don't like to insinuate. I don't like to put information out there of what I think is going to happen. I'm going to give you the accurate information. I will give you my opinion of it and answer as many questions. But if I don't have an answer to your question, I will tell you, unfortunately, I can't answer that. Or I'll tell you, I think this may be, but I'll always let you know that I'm not 100% sure if I'm not 100% sure. But the information I'm about to give you is accurate as of today. Also posted this on Facebook, but lots of you don't follow me on Facebook, which, by the way, why aren't you following me on Facebook? Go down into the description, join our Facebook group. We have two of them. We have a Carnival Cruise Lines Facebook cruise, as well as the Destinations with Sal and Debbie group. And you can also send me a personal friend request as well. So Carnival's vacation policy explained. Again, I wrote this myself. And if you have any questions, put them in chat. Debbie's going to be watching chat as we do this, and she's going to be putting them up on the screen as she sees the questions. I'm not going to stop to answer them, but I will. Yeah, you can't do that. I'll explain that in a minute. I will answer them when we get back. So Carnival's vaccination policy explained. Many people have asked me to explain Carnival Cruise Lines vacation policy in detail, so here it is. As of today, July 20th, and this is when I put this on Facebook, it is still accurate as of today. You must be vaccinated for the COVID-19 virus in order to sail on Carnival Cruise Lines. Now, before your fingers go typing, listen to the whole thing because there are some exceptions. Your final dose of the vaccination must be administered by your healthcare professional at least 2 weeks prior to your sailing date. You will be required to show your original vaccination record given to you when you receive your vaccination. Photocopies will not be accepted. It also says right on there not to laminate them. So while Carnival hasn't said whether or not they will take laminated copies, I'm thinking they probably will not, since it says right on the card you get by your healthcare professional, do not laminate. Even if you are vaccinated, you may be tested for COVID-19 at random, at embarkation, or during the cruise. If you test positive, you will be quarantined on the ship or possibly even removed from the ship. So as far as having one vaccination dose from one brand and one vaccination from another brand, that will not be allowed. You have to have, and the reason why is the brands work together. So if you have one brand and another brand, they don't work together the same way as having a fully vaccinated dose of one brand. They've got to be the same brand. You can have the Johnson & Johnson shot, which is only one shot, but yes, you do need to have the shot. If you're a Canadian citizen, I don't know the name of it, but you can either check with Carnival or send me a message. You can always email me at salpitera.com or text me through the text messaging service. There is one brand of Canadian that unfortunately the cruise lines are not accepting to go on a cruise. And I don't remember off the top of my head what the name of that brand is.
Could that be the MDRA one?
It very well could be. It very well could be. Did I miss anything? No. Okay, good. You may be able to get an exception to the vaccination policy. However, an exception will only be granted if you are a long-standing legitimate reason for not getting the vaccination, such as religious beliefs, medical conditions, etc. Being an anti-vaccine believer, not believing that the pandemic is real, not believing that the vaccination is safe, will not be considered a legitimate reason to board the cruise ship without a COVID-19 vaccination. You will be asked to prove your long-standing reason not to be able to get the vaccine. This reason must predate documentation and be documented from before the COVID-19 pandemic. All exceptions must be approved by Carnival Cruise Line in advance and also in writing at least 14 days prior to the cruise. So let me talk about that portion for a minute. First of all, if you call Carnival today and say, my religious belief says I can't do it, or I have a medical condition, I can't do it, they're going to see proof of that condition and that you had that, some kind of proof that you had that religious belief or condition, maybe a letter from your pastor or something from your medical record that was before the pandemic. That way you can't just wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I now believe in, worshiping a head of cabbage, and that head of cabbage doesn't let me get injected. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that settles that. It has to be approved by Carnival at least 14 days in advance. Now, these carnivals are going to be a very small exception. At most, the CDC is only allowing 3% of people to be unvaccinated on board the cruise ship, and that includes children who can't be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. So you want to get that exception way earlier. If you put that in on the 15th day prior to your ship, you can almost guarantee you're not going to get approved. I would send that out at least a month before your cruise, because not only do they have to verify everything, but even if a legitimate reason, they're still only allowing up to 3%. If you're not in there before that 3%, you will be rejected regardless of your religious belief or medical condition. Children, I think I have it on here. Let's see. If you are approved to sail without a vaccination, you will be required to wear a mask and social distance for the duration of the cruise. This requirement will be in effect both on the ship and while ashore, regardless of local laws require masks or not. You're also more likely to be tested throughout the cruise, as well as on your embarkation, and be quarantined or removed from the ship if you test positive. So, go over this in detail. If you're going to be traveling without the vaccination, and you're approved by Carnival to sail without the vaccination, be prepared. You're going to have to wear your mask the entire duration of the ship, both inside and outside. And they will know who you are because they will know who you are. I mean, you had to get approval in advance. You will also be required to social distance through your entire cruise as well. Now, when you go out into port, you will be required to wear a mask, whether you're indoors or outdoors, the entire time you're in port, the entire time you're on an excursion, even if the local laws say that you don't have to. You will be required to follow the ship's policy even while you're on land. And if you violate that policy, and you get caught, they can and most likely will deny you access to get back on the ship. Now, you're especially going to get caught if you're on a Carnival shore excursion, because they actually sign contract with the cruise lines to report anybody that is not following the rules. Mm-hmm. You also might be denied some access to go into some foreign ports, or denied some shore excursions if those local laws prohibit people who are not vaccinated from getting off the ship. And you look like you had a question.
We have another person spamming us.
All right, no problem. Get rid of him.
Yes.
Who? Oh, this guy. All the sick mode. Goodbye. Okay, he's gone. All right, back we go. Some people have just nothing better to do. All right. Non-vaccinated passengers will be required to purchase a travel insurance policy that does not have a COVID-19 exclusion, which are hard to find, that will cover them in the event that the COVID-19, they contract COVID-19 during the sailing. The policy must provide at least a minimum of $10,000 per person in medical expense coverage should you get sick on board, and $30,000 coverage for emergency medical evacuation. Carnival's vacation protection program does meet the standard for this policy. Again, you must purchase this policy either through Carnival or through your own policy and be able to prove it when you board the ship. Vacation protection and other qualifying policies will be required to have proof of embarkation to board the ship. And on a side note, in order to buy vacation protection through Carnival, you must buy that more than 14 days, so 15 days more or out prior to your cruise, or it will be unavailable for you. Accepted non-vaccinated guests must provide at embarkation a negative PCR COVID test 19 at check-in, taken between 72 and 24 hours prior to sailing date. So you have to have your own, as well as you're going to be checked again. And you'll also be taking an antigen test at embarkation and tested again within 24 hours of debarkation on all cruises longer than 4 days. We must now also provide testing information and reporting these destinations we visit. You will be charged a $150 per person charge that will be assessed to your onboard sail and sign account to cover the cost of testing, reporting, and health and safety screening. Children under 2 are exempt from the testing requirements. Children under 2 are exempt, and some kids, I think it's under 12, can't get the COVID test right now. So if you're a child who can't get the COVID test, you will be treated, with the exception of the testing requirement, you will be treated as a non-vaccinated guest, including kids. So if you're a child, you'll still need that policy for the health. You'll also still need to wear the mask. And you could still be tested, but you won't be charged $150 worth. But you need to know that if you're traveling without being vaccinated, you can and most likely will be tested before, several times during your cruise, and again before you leave. So be prepared to be tested regularly. Note, Carnival Vacation Protection is available for purchase until 14 days prior to the sailing for guests residing in the U.S., excluding New York and Puerto Rico, Canada, excluding Quebec, U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and American Samoa. Note, your booking must be paid in U.S. currency. Should you wish to purchase Vacation Protection Program, please call 1-800-CARNIVAL, your personal vacation planner, or your travel advisor. Bottom line, guys, if you're planning on sailing, get the vaccination. Millions and millions of people have gotten this vaccination. Mm-hmm. Very, very few people have had adverse reacts for it. There's not a single ingredient in this vaccination. While they've never all been together in one vaccination, every ingredient in this vaccination has been used in other vaccinations. There's nothing in there that's overtly harmful to you. And your chance of getting sick from the vaccination is so tiny regarding your chance of getting sick from coronavirus. But if nothing more, I mean, if I had a thing in me that said, hey, I'm not going to get vaccinated, I certainly wouldn't be cruising. It's just going to be a nightmare for you. I mean, between social distancing, tests all the time, insurance policies, if you're going to cruise, make everybody else comfortable and get the vaccination. You know, it's really, in my opinion, it's not fair to the other people who all got vaccinated so they can enjoy the cruise without having to worry about getting sick. To have people who just refuse to get vaccinated. And I get there are religious and medical people. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the people who just don't want to get vaccinated, become political. It's just not fair to all the other people on board who've been waiting for this day. It's also not fair to the cruise lines. The last thing we want to see is, an outbreak take place on board and cruising shutting down again for another year.